The following is an interview with Kim Perdikou, an angel investor who sits on the board of multiple companies and is a member of CyberArk's board of directors. She's also our board chair. She was the executive vice president and general manager of Juniper Networks Infrastructure Product Group from 2006 to 2010. She doubled revenue in 3 years to $3.2 billion and also served as Juniper's chief information officer. Prior to her work at Juniper, she held technology leadership positions at Women.com Incorporated, Reader's Digest, and Knight Rider. Kim's @sign is @K, but her alter ego is @NoPatient. And now, without further ado, Kim P.
Why did you invest in this company? How did that get started? I'd just love to hear, some of that story.
Yeah, so I met I knew Colin from Juniper, and he reached out and said they had an idea and they were starting a company, and would I look at the deck and would I talk to them about it, which I did in October of 2019. And I met them. That was the last time I was in Silicon Valley, in November of 2019. And I just absolutely loved the idea, and I think it can really change how we live and work and interact online. And so I thought it was a very big idea, but and it's very, very good technology, which has patents but is open source. And so the whole concept of just how they wanted to go about changing, basically flipping the internet, as we call it, then I said, this is fascinating. And so they asked me, would you work with us? And I said, well, not sure what I can do to help, but I'm happy to help. And so they asked me to be the chairman, and I said, yes. So I'm number 4.
So, now that you're on board and you've been part of Atsign for a while now, what kind of opportunities do you see, for future investors here? What's the future of Atsign?
So I think it's right at the very beginning of all the possibilities. I think we've had some investors in a seed round, and I think that what I envisioned was possible with it. It's even bigger than that. And the fascinating thing to me is there's a lot of companies that start with a small thing and have good impact. But I felt out of the 10 years I'd looked at companies, this was the biggest idea I had seen. And I really do believe when we look back in 10 years that the world will be very different online because of the @sign.
Wow, that's bringing me a tear to my eye. But I know all this already, so that's really great to hear from you. And also, you're on the other sides of things now that you're the chairwoman. Um, if people are to invest into us, what do you think, what's going to happen? What do you think they're going to get out of it? What is their investment doing for us?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, I think they're part of a Silicon Valley startup that can actually change the world, and can flip the internet. And I think when we look back, what we'll have seen is all the things that we assume we need to do today online, filling out forms, having usernames and passwords, all these things can actually go away with the @sign, and we can envision a whole different future. And that's difficult for people to grasp who have actually lived on a world where the technology is it was built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and some of it in the 90s. But there's not been a lot of new technology online. There's been a lot of new experiences, but it's all built on this foundation that was kind of narrow. The foundation, and it was brilliant at the time, and it enabled companies to lead the way, which was necessary. But there's only about 213 million companies, whereas there's 6 to 7 billion people. And there's, you know, in 2028, there's going to be probably about 170 billion IoT devices. So what we have today was built from companies investing, and that's great. But the world is much, much larger than that. And if we got all of that innovation into here, I think it can transform everything that we believe is possible.